No, you don't understand. You see, this sphere is based off of this math. Let's see what he says.
Now, you even say every 600 nautical miles is going to be 10-degree jobs, and yet you had to purposely distort the x-axis in order to make it fit, and even then it doesn't fit.
Yeah, it all goes down to, I've tried to explain this. Obviously, I had to compress it this way. We know that if you had to put it in orthographic, it doesn't take perspective into view, so that's why it gives that compression on my graph. But I needed to do it like this on purpose to actually try and visually show you guys perspective in an orthographic view. It was me trying to explain how it converges to give the appearance of Earth curve.
Let me just grab this for later. By his own admission, Flatzoid says he had to compress the x-axis because he wanted to give it the appearance of Earth curve, but he doesn't elaborate on how he arrived at the compression values for each distance. How much would his graph differ if he didn't compress the x-axis and kept each point an equal 600 nautical miles apart? Well, as you can see, the personal bubble has to constantly change size in order to intersect each Polaris on the y-axis. So I want to focus on how Flatzoid arrived at his compressed x-axis values, because I suspect his starting point was the working globe model, a model which he desperately thought he could somehow translate into a flat plane.
Did I put any sphere math into this? No, I didn't. This is real stuff. Every latitude is 600. It comes from this flat baseline.
Here I have the globe Earth, and the distance around the quarter of its circumference is 5,400 nautical miles. When I split this up into 9 equal parts of 10 degrees, we can see that each distance is 600. So I'd imagine that Flatzoid did this, and then I reckon he got his ruler out to draw some drop lines to a plane above this globe. And already these gaps look remarkably similar in size to those on Flatzoid's graph. No doubt his next step was to measure the corresponding angles for each of these points and then draw in the graph.
Did I use a sphere to get that distances?
Looking at the distances again, you can clearly see that they're decreasing on the graph more and more with distance from the Polaris GP. Here are the angles, and if you bring in and overlay the graph image that I copied earlier, you can see that it's an exact match. But you do have to close your eyes to these distances, because these refer to the globe and not a flat plane.
So it is true. You know what that's called? Dishonesty. It was me trying to explain how it converges to give the appearance of Earth curve.
Flatzoid tried to translate the globe model to a flat plane and discovered his x-axis got distorted. But instead of going back to the drawing board, he decided to run with his creation and invented mobile personal bubbles that intersect with north stars of varying heights. The globe model has no such issues. Polaris stays in a fixed position, hundreds of light years away. All you need to do is look and measure.
Orthographic view is simply a two-dimensional illustration of angles, nothing further.
And the globe model works perfectly without any wacky inventions. You have a point on Earth, a point out in space, and a line between them. You can then measure 60 nautical miles per degree for Polaris, or any other star for that matter.
This that I created was literally just to show that imaginary curve, when you put it into perspective kind of terms, shows why you have your sphere.
Flatzoid claims he's compressed the x-axis to match perspective, but this is just simple trigonometry which had been deliberately mislabeled and repackaged as some sort of miracle flat earth proof.
Did I put any sphere math into this? No, I didn't.
You know what that's called? Dishonesty.
And it is dishonesty. 5,400 nautical miles spanning 90 degrees of arc cannot also have a radius of 5,400. That's a complete impossibility, Flatzoid. And you're conning your viewers trying to make them think that. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let me say thanks again for all the recent subs. I really do appreciate it. And thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.